I wonder, I wonder, I wonder. External headphone default microphone Rode. Can you guys hear me? Can anyone hear me? Can any of the 6 viewers hear me? Can someone type in and be like, "Yeah, I hear you"? Because without a guest, I can't tell if you can hear me. Uh, People say the craziest thing in the comments. I can't believe you don't have the audio figured out by now. It's not like that. It's not like that. I wish it was that easy. I wish it was just that easy. Default external headphones. Yes, Katie Ritz, thank you. This morning we have Tyler Fischer as a guest. Katie, you actually started the show with that. Yep. We have Tyler Fischer as a guest. I don't know if you guys have seen him. Does my voice sound funny? It's 7 a.m. in California. I've been up since 6. I've only said a couple sentences before the show started. Like, I saw my son like walking through the house. He got up, took a pee. I gave him a hug and told him I loved him. He asked me if I'd go back to sleep with him. I said, "Nah, I got to do a podcast." But Tyler Fisher is supposed to be here. He is a comedian. I mean, he's a dude. He's a guy who lives on Earth. He makes a lot of jokes about being 5'3", 115 pounds. And so I don't know how I came across him. I guess the algorithm in Instagram thought it was cool to show him to me. It's weird how the algorithm in Instagram works. On one hand, they ban me for just saying stuff about this situation that the planet's in right now, that the idiots who are on board, who live on this planet, have put us in. And I mean idiots. But yet they ban me, and yet they bring me people like Tyler on a daily basis. It's so weird how the algorithm works. They just want to show me buff dudes, women who have had like plastic stuffed into their underneath their skin with these giant, like their skin's been stretched out. They call them fake boobs, and wearing tiny little bathing suits. They want to show me those buff dudes, and then people just talking the truth about the current situation. But you would think they would just ban all those people. I want to read you something. I wanted to go on Instagram live this morning, and I've been banned from that. They won't let me, and it's so interesting because you can go to and read the community guidelines, and these are the community guidelines on Instagram. Listen to this. It's fucking remarkable. We want Instagram to continue to be an authentic and safe place for inspiration and expression. I mean, that isn't that is just a lie. that that's that's a lie. You would get banned if you went to the CDC website and read the data about deaths from viruses and from injections. If you just read just the data, you will get shadow banned. You will have that pulled down. There's nothing authentic. There's nothing authentic or safe about this platform. There's nothing. I've had 50 posts reported when my boys are working out as child pornography, and yet that we all know that there's crazy pornographic-esque shit on Instagram. It's fucking nuts. It's absolutely fucking nuts. Okay, so then the next sentence is, help us foster this community. You shut the fuck up. And by the way, if you want to see something really crazy, you want to see something like really depressing, go visit, follow the guy who's the CEO of Instagram. It will have your heart broken. I mean, broken. Yeah, Wad Zombie, you should be pissed that you've never heard of this guy. This guy is good. Been on his Instagram all morning. I know, Tyler's amazing. He is funny. I think when I requested him to come on to the show, he had 16,000 followers, and I looked last night and he has 48,000. Someone's reposting his shit and he's blowing up. Oh, it looks like he's trying to get on the show right now, but I don't think he can. He's probably not on the Chrome browser. Is he on Chrome? He's trying. That's what sucks. Occasionally there are these guests who won't give you their phone number. That's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to ask Tyler, why wouldn't you give me your phone number? And so I can't unfuck them when they're having trouble getting on in real time because we're stuck emailing back and forth. But I'm glad he's trying. And then the final sentence is post only your own photos and videos and always follow the law. Respect everyone on Instagram. Don't spam people or post nudity. I mean, these guys are. He's downloading Chrome now. We use this software for those of you who give a shit. It's called Riverside FM. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's good. But basically, what it does is we record the show live on Riverside, and then 36 later, Riverside has some sort of interface with YouTube, and it streams it to YouTube. And so most of our guests and most of the people don't know anything about Riverside, and so that's why there's sometimes a hiccup. But I hear and see. Yes,
Hey,
we've made contact. We've made contact. Tyler, what's up, buddy?
hey, how's it
Good
going?
morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Oh, and now it's working on my computer too. Oh well.
Are you on your phone?
I'm on my phone and my computer. Should I
Hey,
shut one of them?
whatever you want to do. Yeah, probably you should shut one of them, but whatever's most convenient for you. The
All right.
show can only get better. I've started off by reading the community guidelines at Instagram, so the show's got a really slow start this morning.
Well, that'll take you hours to do that, right? Aren't they?
Yes.
Aren't they like?
Yes.
It's
Well,
like a
as long as
Shakespeare play.
as long as we're authentic, that's all they care about, and honest. They only care
Oh,
about authenticity and honesty.
oh my God.
Tyler, did you get the list of words from my producer that you're not allowed to use this morning? I just want to make sure that we're very clear on what those words are.
Well, first of all, you didn't even ask my pronouns, so
I apologize.
I don't know why we're gonna skip over that.
I apologize.
No, I did
We're-
not
we're-
get the list.
We're new to this. We're just trying to fit in.
I actually asked you don't use the word list.
I got that. I apologize. I actually had a note in here. Don't use that word. Damn it.
Don't look at them either.
Do you use DuckDuckGo?
I do sometimes. I think like I'm just so used to Google that I think on my laptop I do. I just got a new computer, so maybe I'll set it up. Is that what you use?
Kind of. Wait. So you I heard your question. I'll circle back to it. You got a new computer? Do you know what that's a sign of?
Self-care, I guess. I've been using an old shitty 13-inch MacBook Pro for like 10 years, and my podcast would take 24 hours to export.
That is success. When I hear that you got a new computer, I just hear success.
Yeah, it was a leap. I got it a few months ago. I didn't have the money for it. Well, I guess I did have the money for it. I had like just enough.
How I gave you a little bit of an introduction. The show starts live at 7 a.m. That's not a dig at you, by the way. It doesn't matter. Some guests don't even show up. But I gave the people a little bit of background on you. It's I don't even know what my show's about or what I'm doing, but basically, I just need to become the greatest podcaster that ever lived, and so I'm interested in comedy, and I'm interested in fighting, and I was a former executive over at CrossFit Inc., a damn good one. I had a media team of 100 people working for me. I kicked ass. And then now I'm just doing podcasts super early in the morning, so the rest of the day I can spend the day with my 3 little boys and party with them. Go to the skate park, do jiu-jitsu, go swimming in the ocean.
I know. I saw some of those. You're really training them hard.
I need bodyguards.
I saw the one doing skating at what kind of park is that? It's like all cement, but he's good.
Do you skate?
I do, and I hope I can find this picture. If I can't, I blew it. But
You're built. You're
used to
kind of
skate.
built like you're built like you could be an amazing skater.
Yeah, I have a picture with Tony Hawk when I was about your son's age, actually.
Oh shit!
So if I happen to have it, I'll grab it. If not, yeah,
Tyler, how old are you?
I'm 34.
I found CrossFit when I was 34.
Oh God, that's amazing.
Do you work out?
I don't work out. I used to. I need to be available for public humiliation. So I have to be in a class where I have so much pressure on me. I do it alone. It's just like
you have a nice body. You should work out because
I really need to.
Around this age, it'll start going downhill.
Yeah. Sorry, just threw my shoulder out getting my coffee.
And if you did, I guarantee, and you live in New York City?
Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn.
If you did CrossFit, it would give you so much material.
Yeah, well, I should at least go. See, I was obsessed with working out when I was a kid. I'm really small. I'm like 5'3" and skinny, and all my friends just kept growing. We were around 11, 12. I'm like, where are you going? And I just stayed. So um, I was obsessed with working out, and I really fucked up my body like big time. So I'm pretty,
Really?
yeah, yeah. I was bench pressing like 150. I would weigh like 90 pounds. So I have to find it. I just need to get a trainer, someone who can work with me, because I did a lot of damage on my back and my shoulders, and I probably tore a bunch of stuff.
Does it hurt when you wake up in the morning? Does your body hurt?
Something hurts. I don't know what.
Yeah, interesting.
There's an overall hurt, but I have a cup of coffee and a smoothie, and then goes away. Yeah,
I
I'll throw it out like every 6 months. I'll kink, something will happen, and then I can't walk for a few days.
Wow, we're like the same person. Like literally, like
I
you'll just
know.
be like taking a shit and you'll wipe your butt and then like it'll just go out, or and you'll be like, "What the fuck? I didn't even do anything." Like that.
Yeah, well, once I was on tour. I was doing a big tour for Samsung, and I was jumping on the bed to celebrate. I was in this beautiful bed, and that was the first time it happened. And I fell to the floor and couldn't walk for a few days. And then, yeah, every 6 months, 6 to 8 months, it'll happen for a day or two where I just can't move or can't move my neck.
Yeah, you got to tell you got to go to a CrossFit gym and tell your trainer, "Hey, I'm very very like sensitive
Okay.
to injury," and they'll get you going. Cause yeah, man, you look like you're a healthy, in shape dude, and you don't want to let that erode.
No, it's really hereditary. It's genetics, because my brother's 2 years older. So we were on the same diet. We would split every meal. We were actually a great like experiment with weight gain, and he became obese, and I cannot gain a pound. So I appear healthy, but I'm not.
Oh, do you eat a lot of sugar?
Um, I eat a fair amount, but I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. Um, so I allow myself a little room in the sugar area, but not a ton. I don't think. I try to do fruit and dried mango and stuff.
Yeah, you have no stoner in you.
No, I can't handle. I mean, I'm a lot closer to a Woody Allen's personality than people might imagine. So, uh, highly neurotic. I get paranoid when I smoke.
Yeah, me too.
I used to smoke and drink and all that. Now I can't even handle half a beer. I get tired and depressed. So I mean, it's great. It's great because I just don't take part in that ever. And people
Yeah,
try to buy me drinks after shows all the time, and I just get a seltzer or something.
yeah. I don't drink or smoke anymore either. But I didn't quit at 34. I quit probably like. I mean, I haven't smoked weed in I don't know 20 years. But about
Mhm.
nine. But right around when the first like 3 months of this, um, I don't know what the fuck you want to call it. Some people call it COVID pandemic, but I know it's not that. At bare minimum, it's the response to the COVID pandemic that we're dealing with. Because I'm
Yeah.
not dealing. Because, but I drank for the first 3 months, like from 8 a.m. to midnight, and that was fun. I enjoyed it, and then I just quit. I was like, you know what? I'm not
Oh
doing this
wow.
anymore. Yeah.
8 a.m. to 3. But were you doing that a lot before that?
No, but it was just kind of like everything came to a stop. I was hanging out at home a lot. I was just hanging out with my kids nonstop. Um, so I would just wake up in the morning and crack like a kombucha and dilute it with some sparkling water and just start drinking. That would be like my breakfast.
Wow.
But
So
then and just
sounds like,
keep a nice buzz going all day.
yeah, it sounds like you had like a temporary binge going or something.
Yeah, just having fun, not
But
letting the rule.
that's what happens though when they shut life down. I mean, thank God I beat all those habits, and I'm in a couple 12-step programs for different things. So I'm like,
Seriously, are you? Are
yeah,
seriously?
yeah,
Oh
yeah. I'm
wow.
like I'm like what would have happened if I didn't get my life under control um when the pandemic hit? Like, I just feel so bad for people who didn't really have a secure life before this hit. And not to say my life was secure at all. I went off the deep end mentally just because it was like there's nothing to do, and I stopped doing stand up and everything. But it's just so sad to think of those effects that few people talk about. You know.
I quit drinking about 2 weeks before I lost my job of 15 years, and holy shit, that was good.
Oh wow, and you didn't have a relapse?
No, 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 no. I'm a steel trap. I have no. I'm I'm like a robot. I'm like
you're
autistic, but not
you're a
autistic.
sociopath.
Yeah, maybe, yes, yes, maybe,
But you
maybe.
have the good qualities.
Yeah,
There's
yes.
do you know Mark Norman, comedian Mark Norman?
No, tell me.
Well, he's a great comedian. He's really blown up. I mean, um, but he says he's autistic, but he has all the bad parts. You know, he just has the parts where he makes people uncomfortable, but he can't count the toothpicks on the ground or any of that stuff.
He'll be my next guest on my podcast.
Oh, check him out. Yeah,
How many
he's
followers does he have? How many
oh,
followers does
well,
he
it
have?
was probably upwards of 500,000. I mean,
Fuck, I'll never get him.
no, he does. No, you might.
I was concerned a few weeks ago, if I saw correctly, I went and looked at your Instagram and you had like 16,000 followers. And then I think I looked yesterday and you're approaching 50,000 followers. Did I see that correctly?
I think so. Yeah, it
And what
could be Russian disinformation though.
it could be, just it could be. And I was concerned. I was like, "Oh shit, he's got too many followers. He's gonna flake." And you didn't share your phone. You didn't share your phone number. Is that part of your like neurotic philosophy?
No, my phone number
Because
is like on my web. Like fans call me and stuff. I'll have
oh,
yeah, my phone number and my direct email is. I don't have an agent right now, so I was like, whatever. I'll just put my contact up there. So yeah, no, that was. I just think maybe I forgot to.
at so because that's usually how we organize the show. But
Mm-hmm.
occasionally we'll get like a big UFC fighter, and for you a big time comic, and they will refuse to give their phone number. So I thought you were big timing us.
I find that so. Did you ask for it?
I don't know. The producer does all that because I'm big time. Like
Oh,
I don't actually let you talk to me until you give me your phone number. So I
sure,
was trying to
sure.
big time you, and then you big time me.
Yeah, no, I don't think they asked for it, but I also like I don't read directions well. I'm like I maybe partially a friend of mine who's dyslexic just told me that she's certain I'm dyslexic. And I always thought maybe I was, but like I grew up in a different time. They didn't give a shit about autism or dyslexia. They were so I can't really read well. And she was watching me read. She goes, "You're dyslexic." And I do like skip over words and sentences, so it is a
Did you
nightmare sometimes when someone will email me and I'll have skipped through a lot of the details. But
do you drink a lot of coffee?
um, not a ton. I have one in the morning and maybe one in the afternoon.
Because I do that. If I like the first if I'm reading and I've only had half a cup of coffee, I read every word. But by my third cup, I'm like just like skipping paragraphs and shit. True, true. I'm not
Yeah.
even joking. Like,
Just reading the titles of the books, throwing them.
yeah.
Just
So tell me, I'm gonna dig into you a little bit to see if I still have a chance to be a comic. When I was a little boy, I used to watch a ton of Abbott and Costello, a ton. And then when I was I won tickets to go see Rodney Dangerfield. I called into an an AM station, KFRC 610 AM in San Francisco. I grew up in the
okay.
Bay Area, and I'm still in California, just outside of the Bay Area in Santa Cruz. And I won tickets to go see Rodney Dangerfield. I was probably like 11, and my mom took me, and I became obsessed. I had like the world's dirtiest joke books. It was like a volume of 10, and my
Mhm.
dad and I would just drive everywhere, and I would just read them to him. I tons of everything Rodney Dangerfield did, all Abbott and Costello, all Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, all those guys from when I was little. But none of the more nuanced guys that probably and you probably don't even think they're nuanced because you're so steeped in it.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big Saturday Night Live. Is that
Saturday Night
SNL?
Live. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do any of that stuff. Um, but it was the only thing I ever wanted to be when I grew up. And then about a couple years ago, I'm 49 now, and I never ever wanted to be anything else. And then about at 43, I had kids, and I just became a dad. So there was like a gap in there of 40 years where I didn't know what I wanted to do or be. and I was kind of, and I still don't really know what I want to do or be, but I am a dad. That just like I did embody that
Yeah.
identity. You know what I am? I am like,
Uh,
yeah, and
That's
I
a
enjoy it,
lot.
and I'm
Yeah.
playing that role. So I just kind of want to start with, first, are you a comedian? Like, do you identify with that? I
No,
know
I
that's
mean,
sort of been ruined.
I think, yeah, I don't, I guess I don't like the, well, the identity thing, I guess, what I find problematic when I say I'm a comedian, then everyone puts whatever I say through comedian filter, but it's their their definition of a comedian. So you have, well, multiply how many followers you have, or family members, or friends. Everything goes through that. So that's when I started to pull back and think, I don't, you know, I just don't think it's a good idea, because I also like, I'm more dark than I am comedic, and then also those have over. So I also act and write and direct and make films and stuff. So I don't, at this point, I don't think it's useful to say comedian, but that's part of what I am for sure.
Do you know what you are? Are you like, do you identify with anything? Like, are you
Create.
just like
I think it's
a
just a
a dude who wants like,
creator, an artist, a creator. I mean, most of the my time spent is me at my computer writing, so it's not, there's nothing funny about, if you watch my life, you would just want to slit your throat, because I take my dog to the park. I, rehearse stuff in my head. I come back, I write, I edit, I just edited the sketch. I don't know if you saw with the vaccine passport one. Yeah.
amazing, dude. By the way, so good.
Thanks, man.
And crazy bold that you showed us your whole Final Cut Pro timeline, and just really like making people realize how miserable your job really is. Because I spent a lot of time on Adobe. I think actually you were on Adobe, and I'm like, oh shit, he's really lifting up the curtain. He's really showing that his life isn't just
Well,
about telling jokes and getting pussy.
yeah, no, it's like, I discovered Jordan Peterson a few years back.
And
I don't
your
know if you
your
know
your
of him.
impersonation of
That
him
is,
is awesome,
yeah.
dude. It's so good.
Well, it's like a little Kermit the Frog, a little, and it was like, I didn't have a whole lot of discipline growing up, or any, actually. I had none. I dropped out of, there's no, my parents got divorced, and then we
How
played
old
them.
how old are you?
I was 7.
Okay. Oh, that's kind of old. Okay.
So
So
starting at 7, I didn't. It
that
was.
hit you.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And so really, until I was 30, I had no structure. I had no. I mean, I was just a mess in every way. So discovering him was really like the reason anything's partially the reason anything's happened, is from implementing what I learned from him, which is like, create a schedule, but make it fun. So that's what I'm doing. It's like, I'm a pretty low functioning person, actually. I usually don't get up until 11 or 12. I don't sleep well. So I'm like, if I'm going to do it, just schedule it out and focus, even if it's an hour a day. I only write for 30 minutes a day. But I do it
And
every day, then
is the neurotic part useful in that sense? Because as long as you write it down and schedule it, like I'm like that too. If I make a list, like I'm beholden to it. Like if I'm doing items 1 through 5 and then all of a sudden I have to pee, I can't pee until I've done items 1 through 5, because it's item 6 now. Like, is it like that for you? Like, do you become like just obsessed? Oh shit, I have
it
to.
it's not that bad, because I really was coming from zero discipline, or zero, accountability. So it's not quite that bad. I mean, I had to get something notarized, and I had to work with my therapist for like 3 weeks to get it done. I mean, that's how many hurdles I have, just, in many ways, with anything that feels like work, or
Yeah, yeah.
or authority, or any of that stuff. So I had to sit down and like cut it into like 20 little steps, and it took, yeah, probably 3 weeks.
You need a wife.
Yeah, that's on my list for sure.
If you get a wife, they start like doing cool shit. Like
they socialize you and they structure your life. Yeah.
Or like if your car needs to be registered, like, and it's been sitting on your desk for like 2 months, they'll just walk by and do that shit
Yeah.
for
So
you.
like you want to see,
Oh yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
my
yeah.
mind.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
That's my mind. And that's not, I don't use that desk. So like I have 3 desks. I have the one I film my podcast at there. And then I have my this is where I sit most of the day. And then this is like my mind that I can't like, and I'll clean that off. That'll be clean. And then a week later, it looks like that. So, um, I've hired professional organizers to come over and force me to throw stuff out.
I don't I couldn't do a therapist because, by the way, the fact that you got something notarized and you have a new computer makes me think that like you really are on the trajectory of success. Those like seem
Yeah.
like correlates to success for me. But I don't you feel like you're wasting money paying a therapist?
Oh, I'm on Medicaid. I don't pay for it.
Oh, well, congratulations. So you're using the resources that come to you.
But also, no, I wouldn't. For instance, the thing I was notarizing was a refund. I
Not
threatened a lawsuit to an orthodontist who gave me braces on the back of my teeth, and I developed a lisp, and I couldn't. I'm a voice actor as well, so I couldn't work, and all these things that he didn't tell me would happen. So I said, well, I want a full refund, and so I got a few $1,000s back. Now I needed the therapist to do that. So if I was paying a therapist 100 a week, so it would have taken $300 to get back a few $1,000s. So for me, it would be worth paying out of pocket.
right. That shit would stress me out. That shit would have really stressed me out. Oh man, the thought of like if it would have really have gone to court, would you have gone?
I knew it wouldn't because it's
Oh,
not a lot of money for him to
right,
refund, and
right.
he wanted me to come in and sign it there, but I didn't want to see. I It's really hard for me to like ask for what I want, so I was embarrassed to go see him, knowing that I had emailed threatening a lawsuit. So that's why the notary had to come in. So I complicated it, but also like I just knew I don't have it in me to go to the
Yeah,
office. So
yeah, yeah.
we'll add the extra steps, and so that's where the therapist comes in, because I'm able to have someone guide me through all that and go, hey, this guy, you're thinking he's your dad, and so like let's maybe not go to the office and just pay the $15. And I love it. I treat it like, I sit down, I have a therapy document, I'm at the computer, so I treat it like it's the business of my mind.
Why are you still in New York? Do you like it there? Were you born there in New York City?
I was born in New Haven, Connecticut, a town adjacent to New Haven.
I used to date a girl up there.
Yeah, that did you get into the pizza game?
No, I didn't get into the pizza game.
Really?
I was making movies, and she was from there. There's a school there. What's the big school there? Like Yale
Yale.
or Yale's there? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like a nice town and a scary town. It's got a
Yeah,
hood. It's
yeah. I
got a
mean,
hood.
oh my God, yeah. It was one of the highest murder rates per capita in the country when I lived there. We heard gunshots every night. My
Yeah.
dad moved to New Haven, so we lived on the edge of the Yale campus, but you couldn't really go outside of the Yale campus.
Right. Okay,
So
so you born and raised in New Haven, and then when do you come to New York?
yeah, I mean, I grew up coming in, quite often. We were only a 90-minute train ride. New York was always like, it was always this part of my life, but you can't conceptualize as a kid coming in and seeing that city. It was like the Wizard of Oz. So it was like, I'm never going to live there. It never crossed my mind I was even allowed to live there. Then I started acting, went to college, studied acting, and then it was like, oh shit, if I don't move to New York, where the hell am I going to move? So that was it.
And why did you get into acting? What did you like about it?
I think as I mentioned, I was like just this undisciplined, just maniac of a kid. I would get in fights. I was selling drugs. I was stealing. I was, a slew of things. And then I was going to fail out of high school. I was friends with the acting teacher. We would drink. I would go to his house and drink.
And this is high school,
High school.
the good old days. All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good old public school.
Yeah.
And so I signed up for his class because I knew he'd give me an A. He was my friend, and I could get him fired for I'm going to his house drinking every night, smoking, and so that was it. I took his acting class, and we got on stage, did some improv, and people started laughing. And one day later, he pulled me aside. He goes, you need to go for this." So that was it. It was like one guy just going, "You should do this," and then changed my major in college to acting, and then came to New York, started auditioning, doing short films, got into stand up, and then stand up really had a grasp on me. That was like, yeah, that was the focus, I think. But
Are
it
you still
doesn't
friend?
pay. Doesn't pay.
Right.
So
Are you still friends with that teacher?
no, I actually am trying to find his information.
Um, so would you say he was a good influence in your life?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, well,
Like, did he believe in you?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's complicated because he should not have been drinking
Right.
with a student, but I didn't care about that, and I still
Right.
don't. So,
Right.
um, oh, absolutely, yeah, yeah,
I know it's interesting. That makes for a good movie character. It's like the guy that like everything about him you're not supposed to like because he's like breaking the rules.
hmm
But in all in all, one of the most powerful things you can do to a young man or a young woman is to believe in them. And we all have those people in our lives at some point or another who they they just believed in us.
yeah,
They're just like, wow, you're good at that. And for some reason it hits you and you can't shake it. Holy shit, that person
yeah,
said I'm good at that. Like, oh God, I must be good at that. And it
yeah,
sounds
yeah,
like he nailed you with that.
yeah. And
He
like,
like stuck it on you.
what
And
I
you
learned from
yeah,
Jordan Peterson is like it takes such little support. Like humans need such a small amount, but they need it, even if it's minuscule. It really just is one person. If you have one good friend or one, your partner, whatever it is. So yeah, he offered me just enough to quite literally make it my life. And my parents were supportive as well, but this was different. Like having someone pull you in like that.
were your parents workaholics?
Interesting. Yes, yes. My dad, I would say yes. He still is. He's a lawyer in West Haven. Um, and that's part of it. I grew up working in his law firm occasionally, and I just didn't like how consumed he was by work. And when I got home, it was work, work, work. So like, I'm so adverse to like. I haven't done my taxes in 2 years. They're in there somewhere.
Oh shit, aren't you
That's
scared? You're not
no,
scared? No?
no, because I also, I also, uh, I think I never got in trouble as a kid, or even if I got suspended, my parents wouldn't punish me. So I'm missing a lot of important characteristics. Like I don't have the discipline, but then I'm also not scared of getting in trouble. So that happens.
I think you do have the discipline though now. You cultivated it.
Yeah, yeah, I do. It's just it just needs to be because
And
I've
your
done my
YouTube
taxes.
your YouTube account is so prolific. By the way, if someone wants to go somewhere and be thoroughly entertained, you should go to the Tyler Fisher YouTube channel. And I would start with just watching. I think he did it in 2020. He did a stand-up routine, and I'd love to get into how you produce that in a second. But that is really good. It's 40 minutes. Last night, my wife and I sat on the couch and watched it together,
Oh my God!
and
Wow!
I don't want to say it's as good as Boney, my wife, but fuck, it was fun.
Wow!
We were laughing our asses off. And then I went and watched after that other renditions of how you were born. He does a 2 minute section in this 40 minute stand up. Is Tyler talking about how he was born, how his parents made him, and you should go through and watch all of those. Those
Oh,
are
I do.
amazing.
What do I talk about? How I
You
was
talk
born?
about how your dad
Oh,
made you.
oh, oh, right, right, right. I see, I see.
It
Yeah,
is
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
crazy. It
yeah.
is so fucking funny. My wife and I were fucking dying. I was like
Thank you,
crying.
thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
that was like, yeah,
And
that
you have
was
different iterations of it, and it's good. All the iterations are good. It never got old.
yeah, that was a year before the pandemic, and then I just kind of sat on that footage for a while, and I
Wait,
didn't really know how to edit that well, so I would try to,
yeah,
and
why did you edit that? I noticed there were some edits in it. Why even edit that?
oh well, that was two different nights
Oh, it
edited.
was.
Yeah,
Okay. I didn't pick
so
that up. Oh, okay.
some of the jokes, like some jokes, literally, I'm cutting back and forth between the nights just because the delivery's better or a laugh covers my line. So I kind of surgically went in and mixed two nights together.
Wow, well done. Okay, I
Thank
had
you,
no
thank
idea.
you.
I had no idea. I could just see cuts and I'm like, I wonder what he's doing.
Yeah,
I just pictured you. Did you rent? Well, let's get into it. Did you rent a studio or rent a room and then just invite your friends? How do you do that?
yeah. I used to do. So I used to host a show at that place. It was called the Secret. Is called the Secret Loft in Union Square. It was like the perfect comedy venue. Fits like 100 people. Black box. Stage is just up high enough, not too high. And so I thought I'll take two nights, and the purpose was to do an album because this is like a hidden secret. Is comedians can sell their albums or pitch them to Sirius Radio, and then they pick tracks and they pay you every time they play the track, and it's like a great way to make money as living from that if you have a couple albums out. So that was the goal, and I thought, well, I'm there already. I hired a film, but the budget of that entire thing you saw was $300. That's what it cost me total.
What?
Total, yeah.
Wait, what city was that in?
That's in Manhattan.
The Secret Loft. How do you rent a place for $300 in Manhattan?
Well, I already did a show there, so I just talked to the guy and said, can I do two shows in a row?
What a
So I
good guy.
Yeah, yeah, and so he recorded the sound. I paid a guy $300 to film. Um, I actually made money off of it. I think I made 500 from ticket sales and paid the guy 300. So I made 200 to make that. And the time it took to edit and stuff, but
Right, right, right.
you don't have to go crazy with a
And
comedy
so
special.
and then so from there you have the audio and you basically give that audio to SiriusXM and every time they play it you make money?
Yeah, so
And you don't
really
have an agent, you do all the legwork yourself?
no, I don't have an agent. So I edited, cut up the tracks, and you then you label the tracks. You say like dog joke, short joke, whatever. You send it to Sirius. All their comedy guys sit around. They listen to these albums, and then they pick the tracks they want. They email you and say, we picked this joke, this joke, this joke. It'll play on the dirty station. This one will play on the clean station. This one will play on 4. They picked 5 of my tracks to play on 3 different stations, and some months I'll just get a check for $1,000.
Wow.
But so if you use a record label, they get half. So I'm really making 2,000 a month. They're getting 1,000. So then what I found out is you can actually do this all on your own. You don't need a record label. If you can
Yeah.
record it and send it in, you're making 100%. And you imagine you have 2-3 albums up there. You could be getting 2, 3, 4,000 bucks a month just from Sirius XM.
You'll it's fascinating the similarities we have. So at 34 years old, I was at a friend's house, and I guess I wasn't smoking weed at the time. I was at a friend's house, and he had this thing called a vaporizer. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. So for people who don't know, it's basically it heats up the weed and smoke comes off of it, and then when you're done smoking, like the pile of weed is still there. Like it looks like it's never been smoked. So he has this big pile of weed on his desk, and I didn't smoke at the time. I'm like, "Hey, what the fuck is this?" And he goes, "I vaped it already. It's not weed." And I was like, and it looked really pretty. I was like, "Oh, can I dig through it?" And he goes, "Yeah." So I'm just digging through this big pile of weed, and I find this little tiny seed. and I had grown a shit ton of marijuana in a previous life. 10 years
Mhm.
earlier, I had grown like thousands and thousands of plants. So I find the seed and I'm like, hey,
Whoa.
can I have this seed? And he goes, yeah, but it won't grow. I've already vaped it. I'm like, cool. It's been like 230 degrees or whatever the fuck it is, and you won't be able to grow it. So I take this seed, and I'm living at home with my mom, because I'm still in my 30s. It's not time to move out yet. And I put and I put the seed in a little tiny pot, and I put a little fluorescent light over it, and the seed starts growing. And so I start taking pictures of the seed every single day, and I make little notes of of what's happening, how much water I gave it, when I transplanted it, when I added a second light bulb, and I would take pictures and write down everything I did. And at the very end, I had this plant, and it was probably, I don't know if you can see my hands, it was probably like the size of a giant beach ball, and I harvested it, and I changed the light cycles, all that shit, and I harvested it, and I got 4 ounces of weed off of it, and it was surrounded by like 20 fluorescent bulbs at that point, right?
Whoa.
So I took that weed, and got in my motorhome and went down to Santa Barbara and sold the 4 ounces of weed and lived in my front lawn in my motorhome. But during that time, I took all of those pictures and I assembled them into a book.
Okay.
And I printed out all the pages, and each page looked exactly the same except like the different picture of the plant. And I glued the pages on pieces of cardboard, and I made this big, thick cardboard book. And it was basically like how to grow 4 ounces of weed in 80 days or whatever I called it. And I gave myself this name, and I called myself Seymour Buds. And I think I still have the domain name. Anyway, so I'm just sitting on the book, and it was just like my little art project, right, that I did on the side, and while I chased girls and got jobs on Craigslist filming bar mitzvahs and shit. So then I saw one day, I was reading in the paper that in the city of Oakland, which was right near my house, that there was a guy there named Ed Rosenthal, and he was the largest publisher in the world of marijuana books. And I was like, oh, okay. So I called him and I said, hey, can I come to your house? I want to show you this book I made. So I take this big pile of cardboard that's got like a 3-ring like holes in it, and I go, here's my book. And they're like, holy shit, this is your book? And I go, yeah. And they're like, do you have it on a disc? I'm like, no, I just made it. It's my little arts and crafts project. They're like, we'll take it. And they've got the book, and it's still in publication to this day. And I don't know how long, but I don't know. I make a few $100s every month. But for the first couple of years,
Whoa.
for the first couple of years, I made $1,000 every month.
Damn.
Yeah, and then they had me write a second book. It didn't do as well, but it still did well. But it was
Whoa.
kind of like what you did. Like I was just like, and all from just this seed I found. And when you have marijuana seeds, I don't know if you're familiar with it. The seed could have been male.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I grew some plants in high school, actually.
okay,
Yeah.
so it ended up being, I mean, destiny, Tyler.
Yeah. And to have that
But kind of your story, right?
to have that passive income is really, it's incredible. It's just,
Dude, I could buy a pack of cigarettes, and my
yeah.
current wife now, I could go over to her house and I could buy coffee. And like I didn't have to be like panicking if she ordered a latte. I'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I got money. I got like $50 in my pocket. What?
Yeah. It's amazing. It's
Get what you,
amazing.
get what you want, girl. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
awesome. You want to get smoothies afterwards? I got it.
It's on my weed book.
Yes, it's on my,
But
exactly.
that's the thing. If you make stuff and there's not, I mean, I know there's a lot of artists, but to really, and I think a lot of artists, the overwhelming majority are, that creative gene does not mix with the business gene. There's typically one or the other. And I really think the only successful artists just have both, or have stumbled upon or have an agent who can really do that for them. But
Right.
to make something, complete it, bring it somewhere and go, here it is really fucking hard for most people.
Yeah.
I mean, I waited for editing my album, and then when the pandemic hit, I lost. I run an Airbnb, so I lost my income there. I lost all my stand-up gigs, and it was purely the survival that forced me to sit down and edit that fucking thing.
What do you mean? What do you mean you run an Airbnb?
So I live in a 5-bedroom house in Brooklyn that
Uh-huh.
I rent from my landlord. She lives below me in the first
Uh-huh.
2 floors. And so I've been doing this for 8 years with a roommate, and we would Airbnb and rent 3 rooms all year round. And then she moved out. I took it over, and suddenly I had 4 extra bedrooms and a rent to pay. So I started renting 4 rooms. So I lived with 4 Airbnb guests, and then the pandemic hit, and they all, flew back to Europe. So a lot of European people.
So you don't have any COVID fear?
I had COVID the first week of lockdown, around March 12th. So yeah, I mean, I had it, and I had it pretty bad, but also it was the first wave when no one knew what it was. So you take a neurotic person, give them COVID when
You
the
had it
media.
before all the hype. You had it before it was
I had it
worldwide.
when people didn't believe me. This is what's so
Oh,
hilarious to
awesome,
me is
awesome.
like
I
it
love
was
this.
so early on.
Hmm.
Everyone was making fun of this thing. I mean, I would get on stage and shake everyone's hand in the whole audience and get up and go, I just got back from Wuhan. And everyone, oh my God, everyone would laugh. And, I'm touching people's faces. I mean, it was like, uh, and
Super spreader, super spreader.
even the politicians were like, don't worry about this. Nancy Pelosi, go down to Chinatown, support. No one gave a shit or was threatened by it. So I had it, and I was in bed for 2 weeks. But also, this was back when I was like super liberal and watching CNN every day and MSNBC, and the fear mongering was almost criminal. So I was paralyzed. I wrote out care instructions for my dog. I wrote a living will. I mean, like, they really made it seem like this was going to wipe out everybody, and they did not make the distinction of age or health or any of that stuff. So it was probably the worst couple months of my life, I'd say.
Oh, interesting. I
Yeah.
just had it. I just had it last week, a couple weeks ago. But for me, I don't need any added sugar or refined carbohydrates.
Okay.
So I have a bulletproof, and I work out every day, and I have incredible self belief. I think, and I'm narcissistic and all that stuff. So like, it can't get me. So
That helps. That all
yeah.
helps. Yeah. Yeah.
But so you were a liberal too. Oh my God, we're on the same.
It,
What
it wasn't
happened?
even
What
like,
happened? How did we become liberal, and then how did we get unliberaled?
well,
I mean, I still want to be a liberal. I just can't. I still want to like love trees and like
well,
be
you
part of
might
the.
be. You can, that's the thing. It's like,
But I can't do any of the CNN stuff anymore. I can't do any of the feel. I can't like
but they're no longer, that's the thing is, it, that's what I realized. I don't have to just go along with them and go, oh, this is what liberal is now. They've moved so far left that, like, guys like me appear conservative. People go, oh, you're conservative. No, they just went far left and I didn't go with them. So if you move the whole treadmill, yeah, now I'm conservative, but not by definition. So uh, I was born into it. I compare it to religion. It's not even something I thought about. It
we
was
were we were indoctrinated.
yeah, this is what my parents believe.
Yeah.
These are the CNN was. My dad watched MSNBC every day, so there's part of it that's nostalgic. I ended up watching Morning Joe the whole pandemic, the first year, and it was probably because I felt closer to my dad when I was watching it.
Right.
It's these things are just built into us, and uh, it takes something to kind of shape. Oh, what the hell was this? What was I
Yeah.
taking part in?
Was it hard for you to Was it hard for you to wake up? Was it hard for you to see that, oh shit, this something's not right?
Yeah,
I'm on autopilot. Like
yeah.
like I need to like rethink a few things. Was that hard?
It was really hard, and it all for me started with the word diversity, and it
Yes.
really started to impact my. Oh, it was a slow build for the last 10 years. It wasn't that prevalent early on when I started stand up and acting, which thank God I didn't. It wasn't like, oh, I'm not going to get this because I'm white, or they're not going to consider me because I'm white. A few years in, it just started to get a little louder and a little louder. And then I would audition for something and they'd say, well, we prefer diverse people, non-white or whatever. And then I lost an agent because of it. I got one of the biggest acting agents in the world. They brought me in. We're gonna get you on SNL. Why aren't you famous? What the hell's going on here? And then a few months go by. I go, hey, what's going on? I haven't heard from you. And they just write me back, exact words: tough out there for white dudes.
Oh shit.
And then they removed me from their database. I got an email and just said, you've been removed.
That's a
So
great shirt. Tough out there for white dudes.
yeah.
That should be an acronym.
He didn't even like capitalize the T or put a period. And I have the email. And
that's beautiful.
That I quit acting for 3 years. So
Wow.
I quit acting for 3 years.
And that's the problem right there. Just so you know, people, early on in the show, we were talking about how his high school teacher said something that stuck on him and believed in him and propelled him forward. But also, you have to remember, when you're able to use someone to push you forward, someone can also hold you back. The game isn't a one-way street. Okay, sorry. Good,
Right.
Great point.
Right.
I was getting all excited earlier about what a great guy that is, but you got to. Yeah, okay.
Well,
so this
also,
guy says something that fucking knocks you off your stool, knocks you off your horse.
See, the problem is, if it was just this guy, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But this has the force of the universe right now. This is top down. This is the industry sending it to the producers, sending it to the. This is top down, and I started to understand that, which is why I quit, because I started to hear it so much. The blatant, oppressive white male shaming that it just was everywhere. And I'm in Brooklyn. It's just like every date I was on, I would get a lecture about how bad I'm going, you're on a date with a white man, and so that, I also had to trust them too, right? When someone says, we're going to make you famous and we're going to, and that was probably the fourth or fifth time it happened with an agent. I'd worked with other people, same thing would happen. But I think it was getting that email, having him actually spell it out for me was like, oh, this is really
it's kind of cool that he wrote. Yeah, it's kind of cool that he wrote that.
Thank God.
Yeah, mad props to that dude.
And you know what's funny though is then people became more open and would just tell me explicitly, we can't hire you because you're white, or we can't consider you because you're white.
Yeah.
And I thought that was even more alarming, how comfortable people were.
Yeah.
Because the guy didn't think twice of it. He doesn't know I have this email that I'm going to probably point just to show people what's going on. And so that was it. That was the first, like, wait a minute. And then I would tell my liberal friends or whatever, and they'd go, oh, yeah, well, it makes sense. And I'm thinking, you're willing to use me as a sacrificial lamb? Like, it's not just losing an agent. It's like it's losing the opportunity to pursue my dream, which will kill me. Like,
based on your skin color.
Based on my skin color.
Now, if it was because you were short, I'd be okay with it. I understand that.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Women want to fuck big dudes. People want to hang around big guys. It's genetically programmed into us. They're bigger, faster, stronger, more intelligent. Well, I don't know more intelligent, but better looking, bigger dicks. Oh, they got all the good shit. They're big, giant. I understand that. But skin color, like, I'm only 5'5". I understand why women want big dudes. I get it. I think a woman who's 6'1" sounds great.
Yeah.
But color, but I'll take them black, white, or other.
Right.
But to judge you on your skin color is crazy.
Unless it's a role like Jamie Foxx playing Ray Charles. Okay, yeah, we want a black guy. No one's going to dispute that,
God, isn't Jamie Foxx good?
He's so good, man. He's probably he definitely was an inspiration.
If you would have said, hey, you saw Jamie Foxx play Ray Charles and so you quit acting, I'd understand that. But not because you're white.
Yeah, well, fortunately, I had a knack for impressions. So I think deep down when I saw him do that, I thought, oh, if I do impressions, it'll get me to this point where I can do them in movies. That was kind of the motivation to do the impressions.
You could do Fauci. Oh,
yeah.
Shit. Oh, shit, you're a young Fauci. Because your impersonation of Fauci is fantastic, and you probably have the same build as him.
Yeah, I
I bet you
do.
Fauci.
Yeah.
I bet you Fauci has a good body.
Well, he does, and that's the thing. There's a lot of opportunity to play roles like that, and this is also what's funny is people will reach out to me to audition for things when they need a voice match.
Yeah.
So it's funny that suddenly they'll go, "Oh wait, skin color doesn't matter. I just auditioned for Muhammad Ali's voice." And so it's a house of cards. It's fraught with contradictions that suddenly they'll go, "Oh wait, we need the best guy for this job, so skin color doesn't matter." So they're willing to pick and choose when they're going to discriminate. But yeah, that fucked me up really bad, and it happened again. It happened again a few months ago. Another major comedy management company reached out and they said, "We saw your stuff." They sent someone out to come watch me do stand up. We got on the phone, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh man, they're gonna sign me." They said, "We can get you to audition for Curb Your Enthusiasm," which is my all-time favorite show. So I make the call, and they said, "We have some bad news. We accepting white men." And so
Dude,
I
that's
hit.
so awesome though that they're telling you that. I have to
They're
tell you.
so dumb. They're
But
so
I but I
dumb.
but I kind of like it. Don't you kind of like it that they're just saying it like that? Like in the sense that, well, first of all, do you think they're being honest? Do you think maybe that, like, what if they just think you suck and they don't have the guts to tell you, so they want to blame it on your skin
No,
color?
no,
No?
no. And I really made sure, uh, and I recorded it because I and
Because you're
this is
litigious. Because you're litigious. We've already established
yeah,
that.
but this is like your son, right? What if he
Yeah.
wants if he wanted to be an actor and let's say you left the
And
room and
he
he
and he's a Jew. My wife's a Jew. He's fucked.
doesn't
And
matter,
I'm
yeah.
Armenian. And he's gonna be short. He's gonna be a short white Armenian Jew.
Well,
He's
the
fucked.
Armenian thing
And
could
and
help him.
Harry and Harry. Yeah.
All of those things could help
Okay. Good.
with ethnic ambiguity. But anyhow, so
The
I'm
agent. The
starting
agent.
to collect this stuff because I
Yeah.
feel I have 15 years. I have a resume. I got on TV. I have good roles. I'm a good at 12 years of stand-up experience. I've got a jam-packed resume, but when I show it to them, skin color goes to the top. So if I quit after having the world behind me and the support of famous actors and comedians who vouched for me to get this manager, what is a young boy going to do or young girl going to do? They're not even going to bother going to acting school. Why would they? The society is literally saying, you're not going to have a chance. We're not going to consider you. And without hope, I mean, you're acting and comedy drives on hope. This is a stupid career move. I mean, 99%. So when you remove that hope, there's no point in pursuing it. So I'm
And
starting.
you're a successful. Sorry to interrupt. You're a successful actor, comedian, and you still can't make a living doing it. You still have to run an Airbnb. And by every other metric, you're successful.
Right. So I was on TV. I was doing guest stars and co-stars.
Big YouTube channel.
I still, well, that happened in the last couple months. So I wasn't making any money on YouTube. I'm still, not making much, but to then have we're not going to consider you because you're white thing. It's like, I just threw in the towel. So, I plan on speaking out on this a lot more because I need people to actually hear these people saying out loud racist, discriminatory things, which have become socially acceptable, and it's just very alarming. So that's when I sought out other views. I go, I just like I needed the support of that acting agent. I needed someone to say to me, "Hey, that's racist and discriminatory." Like I didn't even allow myself to think this was bad because I was so brainwashed. And then I heard Jordan Peterson in a lecture say, "This is racist." And I go, "Holy shit, I needed someone to say that so bad. I needed support." And that's when I started to listen to other opinions,
What?
conservatives and Republicans. And I'm not now Republican or conservative, but it was only people on that side who were saying this is wrong no matter who is being discriminated against. And I was like, wow, you seldom hear that.
Yeah. You were on Colbert and John Oliver?
I was on Colbert just doing a sketch. I acted in a sketch, and I was on Last Week Tonight acting in a sketch. Both were because I knew people that worked for the show who just reached out to me directly.
It, two amazingly talented people, but 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 does your heart break when you see how lost they are? Like when you see them making fun of things that like you can see now the veneer, like that their humor is a veneer on a sad truth that needs to be told. Do you know what I'm referencing? Like it's who there's a guy, the black guy, Trevor Noah. I used to really like him, and now when I watch him, I see, oh, he's a child. He's making fun of people that he's making fun of a situation that's not really there. He's making fun of his own delusions of grandeur, and I'm like, shit, these guys like have lost their way. Their shtick is so built on making fun of the right that they're unable to think logically anymore. And do you ever
Yeah.
feel bad for them? Like you're like, oh my God, Trevor, you're so talented. Oh my God, Colbert, you're so talented. But like, and
Yeah.
it was kind of cool. You almost saw what's his name, Jon Stewart. You almost saw him go on. You almost saw him unfuck Colbert. Like he threw Colbert a lifeline because it does look like Stewart might be waking up. And I
Oh,
love
yeah.
Jon Stewart too. I loved
Well,
Jon Stewart. I mean, I like all
well,
those guys. I just feel they're so lost right now.
well. You also have to you have to sort of step back and Jon Stewart, what he said and did on that show was not outrageous or anything,
No.
but that when you weigh it against how crazy the others have gone, you go, wow, Jon Stewart really took a risk. He didn't. And that's what's scary, really. He didn't do, he just challenged what every comedian has done since the beginning of time, which is challenge something. When someone goes, this is how it is, this is how it is, this is how it is, you go, wait a minute, what if we flip it upside down? The fact that seemed extreme on those shows, I think really lifted the veil on how far gone they are.
Yeah.
And just an arm of the Democratic Party, really. And this, did you see the climate change night last night or 2 nights ago?
No, those guys are out of their fucking mind too.
So all of the late night hosts, Samantha Bee, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, they all
Oh,
got
poor
together.
Jimmy Kimmel and poor Howard Stern. There are two other ones I feel so bad for.
So you got
Howard
to
Stern
look at.
has ruined his life. He's ruined his life. Go ahead. Sorry, go on. The climate change
I have thoughts on
comedian.
Howard Stern, but they all got together the night dedicated to climate change. So on each individual late night show, the whole show was trying to shame people into fixing the climate. And it was like, what the fuck is this? Isn't this just state TV? Isn't this just, and someone made the example, what if they all got together to promote building the wall? It would have been the same type of feeling, but now Howard Stern, what happened? He just went off on the unvaccinated, right?
Well, but about 2 years ago. So this is gonna be really pretentious of me to say to you, although I say it on my show all the time and on my Instagram all the time. I apologize if it comes off pretentious to you. There is not a single healthy person has died from this SARS-CoV-2. What do I mean by that? I mean that anyone who does not eat added sugar or refined carbohydrates has not died. Zero, not one. You cannot find one. The leading correlate of all premature death is obesity. If you do come down with if you do eat sugar, your bloodstream is filled with hormones, primarily like insulin and leptin, things like that. When your bloodstream is filled with hormones, your NK cells and your T cells cannot perform their duties. And what are their duties? To basically kill anything that's not wanted in your body. And they can do it with, you can go on YouTube and watch videos. They can kill cancer. They can kill all viruses. They are amazing. But if you eat shit you will fuck up the whole process. It's like this, and people think, oh, everything's okay in moderation. No, a little bit of peanut butter in your dad's gas tank of his Maserati is not okay. Not even a little bit. And so you have to realize we live in this society where we flip the script. They think that like the rhetoric of eating healthy is extreme. It's not. The extreme is drinking a Mountain Dew. It's so fucking extreme. The
Mm,
extreme is consuming. There wasn't raw sugar 100 years ago,
mm,
and we know this going back. I'll tell you one more quick thing on the subject. Hitler was obsessed with people dying of cancer. He was
hmm.
obsessed with him dying of cancer, and he wanted to take over the Ukraine and kill all the people there and make it one giant field of organic produce. And why? Because he panicked because of cancer. Well, why were people dying of cancer? Because of industrialization, and they just started eating sugar. Well, now for the last 100 years, we've been on this chase to cure cancer. There is no fucking cure for cancer, you fucking morons. Just like there's no fucking cure for pregnancy. If you don't want to get pregnant, don't sit on dick. If you don't want to get cancer, don't put sugar in your mouth. Now, obviously, I'm a little bit of hyperbole. It's not 100%. Like you could
Yeah.
roll over on a wet spot on the sheets and get pregnant, and you could get cancer. Like if you taped your cell phone to the side of your head for 20 years, but in general, it's not. We don't need to add something to the mixture to be saved from SARS. You have to stop doing bad shit to yourself. You're poisoning your fucking self.
Yeah. And they don't,
And no
that's
one
the
wants to
part.
acknowledge. And no one wants to
No.
acknowledge that. I forget how I got off on that tangent, but I have to do it in every show. And
Howard
so
Stern,
Howard
I
Stern.
think.
So Howard Stern is so wealthy. He can have the ultimate cook. He's very thin. He's got his own best coaches in the world. He's got hundreds of millions of dollars. And this fucking moron. It's as dumb as what Trump did. When Trump got SARS, he should have fucking hired a trainer and lost 50 pounds. That would have
Hmm.
been awesome. Awesome. Instead, he took he could have been an example for us all, right? Same thing with Stern. He can be an example for us all to be like, guys, it's okay. Take care of yourself. Take personal responsibility. And instead, he's promoting the fear. And what fear is the first manifestation of selfishness. Selfishness is the opposite of selflessness. And so he's permeated with selfishness. And why is fear selfishness? Well, it's the same thing like if you're crossing the street and someone honks a horn, you become 100% selfish because you become in survival mode, right? And that's
Hmm.
okay. I'm not saying it in a negative way, but Stern has so much fear, but before he had that fear, he was just the most selfish person ever. And you know that. You can listen to him. You can tell his staff hates him. He's funny. You can tell working there's a fucking horrible thing because you make 42,000 a year and he makes hundreds of millions a year. But people do it because of the clout and still wanting to climb on top. And I get all that. But now that he's been pushed to the brink with this epidemic, all his fear is manifesting as all his selfishness is manifesting as fear. And it's gross. And it's pathetic.
And hate, fear and hate. That's
Yes,
for the
yes.
fear. If you don't want to face it, you put a mirror up and it projects hate back on people. But
Yeah.
I know is a pretty extreme germaphobe.
Yes.
And as was Hitler
Yes.
and a lot of dictators. And there's I'll try to find it and send it to you. But Jordan Peterson has a discussion with a guy who's linked these atrocities in history with the level of I guess a germophobic neuroses, which then ends up turning into, with Hitler, he originally was going to go in and clean all the ghettos, right? All the Jewish ghettos. And then it turned into, well, put them in jails and then shower them, shave their heads and just kill them.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah.
this guy had such a precise sort of link to that with the way people were mass executed. And a lot of it always ties to parasites and viruses.
Yep.
And I'm so glad that I saw that talk so I could kind of understand, even if people aren't conscious of what they're doing right now. But it's like we already turned the unvaccinated to the pandemic. And Biden said that, which is so alarming. And I can't believe people aren't focusing on that.
How about Canada?
Sentence.
How about Trudeau? It's
God.
crazy. The stuff
But
they're
to
saying
call-
is crazy.
I mean, Biden said the words, the only pandemic now is the pandemic of the unvaccinated. I mean, that is such a first incorrect and cruel thing to do. You just turned a third of the country into the virus. And when you call somebody a deadly virus, well, now you can do whatever the hell you want to do to them.
Right.
To save the rest. So
Right. Alchemy, and it's alchemy through words. This whole life is a word game. This whole
We know where this leads. We know where it leads. And I'm not like going, oh, it's going to be another Holocaust, but you can see the exact overlap between what's happening now and what happened in the very beginning of the Holocaust, which was we got to clean this virus, and the people are the virus.
Do you ever get concerned that this stuff will make it like? So my mom's like, "Oh, I like it so much better when you're funny, Sevan. I wish you'd be funny. I like it when you're funny on your Instagram. I wish you weren't always talking about obesity and sugar. And I like it when you're funny." Do you ever get concerned that? I mean, you seem to be doing amazing. Your Instagram is funny as shit, and so is your YouTube channel, Tyler Fischer. For those who don't know, Tyler
Thank you.
Fischer. Do you ever get concerned that this is going to make it so you're not funny? Like I heard you say. You're saving all of these emails or these times when people say it to you, but maybe you should only be saving them to create more stand-up, to create more sketches.
Well, back to not labeling myself a comedian,
Right.
When I
you don't want to be an activist, do you? You want to be a comedian. Comedian's so much more fun. Activist seems like.
Well, there's a duty involved here, right? It's like all my dreams were crushed, and not to say like I'm like that. So that sketch that I made was the first bit of acting I've done since the 3.5 years since I quit. So that was
the one with the Band-Aids.
Yes, that was the
so
first time I've acted. So look at what I missed out on. 3.5 years. I stopped. That's heartbreaking, right? It's like, what would I have made?
Yes.
So again, back to my point of who else is going to miss out on their dreams and their creations, and they're going to throw their scripts out because they go, well, I'm white, I'm not wanted. I feel like I have a duty, and I don't have to become an activist. I can stick with what I'm doing. And even if it's 1 out of 10 times I put up a post and go like, because there's something powerful in not turning that into a joke and just going, hey, here's a phone call with me and a manager. They will not work with me because I'm white, and just leave it there. That's just kind of placing it and letting people make their decision. And there's something in me that just knows I'm going to have to do that at some point. And I can still make a joke about it. I can still make a sketch and maybe just read those lines verbatim, which I've done before. I was thrown off a podcast for being white, and all I did was do a sketch where I played both roles going, hey, I want to have you on the podcast. Sorry, you're white. And that's all I did. And I got so many messages from that. And
which podcast did you get thrown off of?
I got uninvited on 2 podcasts, and I'm not going to say the name because I just try not to do that yet.
Sure. Fair.
They were both pretty big. One was a lesbian who, and I say lesbian because it was a lesbian podcast or an LGBTQ podcast.
A lesbian is like, that's when you have a vagina and you want to be intimate with other vaginas. As opposed to penises. Okay.
Yeah. So, and again, I don't give a shit who's a lesbian, who's gay.
Of course not.
With comedy, it's like, are you funny? Are you nice? I want to work with you.
Right.
I had this person open for me for my special. I've always supported her, and she invited me on her podcast. We won't go into this now. My dad is gay, and she knows that. So I have jokes about that. So she said, you know what?
Is that why your parents got a divorce?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a good reason.
Yeah, they probably would have anyways, but she invites me on her podcast, and she's blowing up. This girl's becoming famous. And I was so touched because she said, look, I usually don't have straight people on, but who cares?
But I don't believe you that you're straight. So come on.
Yeah, you're a huge fag. Come on. So who are you kidding?
Yeah.
So she invites me on to promote my album. And then right after the George Floyd thing happened, she texted me and said, sorry, I can no longer have on straight men on the podcast. And I was crushed. I probably cried, I don't get a lot of opportunity.
You should have sent a picture of yourself with a dick in your mouth.
Oh God, I should have.
Can you
But what are you
imagine
talking
saying
about?
that to someone? I will not have you on your podcast because of the color of the skin and what kind of genitalia you like to sit on your crotch. It's
No, I can't
fucking
because
nuts. It's
I
fucking
would be
nuts.
canceled. That would ruin my life if I did that and someone posted the screenshot. Hey, Tyler Fischer said no more blacks on the show. You know, it's
Well, you know what is interesting about what you've done, and so when I got fired from my job at CrossFit, a large part of it was for something the New York Times published about me that was completely out of context and a fucking lie, and um, but the best part about that is now I can just tell the truth.
ding, ding, ding,
and
ding, ding.
and so
That's it.
I've created
There's the
my own
gift.
like economy, and I'm so free, and I get so many DMs saying thank you for talking about this, because I'm in a circle of people where I'm scared to death to talk about it. And it's like, I mean, it's I cannot fucking believe how many DMs I get every single day about it. Even my guest yesterday at the end of the show thanked me, hey, for all, because my thing is like, I don't care. I really don't care if you're racist or sexist, or I don't care. Like, I don't care if you're, not only do I not care if you're gay or straight, I don't care if you hate gay or straight people. Like, I really don't care. The part where now finally where I've had to draw the line is if you want to stick a needle in my kid. Can't do that.
Yeah.
Now, like really, I can't do that. Like really, I can't do that. Like the same way I need to eat and breathe. If you cannot approach my kid and force my kid to get an injection, or else something very bad is going to happen. And so that's kind of where I've drawn the line in the sand, because I see that happening places where they're forcing kids to get injections. So I I'm free. I'm free now. I can say whatever I want. I'm free.
Like I'm not.
I can use it for positive. I can use it for positive force of love and acceptance for everyone.
Well, yeah. I feel like the gloves are off now, and not in a
Yeah.
violent way. In a way, like, okay, all of my friends who I thought were my friends literally said, you know, not only can you not do our podcast, we understand why you're not getting work, and we don't care. I don't get, like, there's nothing to lose now. I mean, I can't even
Yeah.
get into the industry, so I'm no longer worried about what I say.
Right.
You know, it was a painful few years, but well worth it, because I was terrified to even talk about my dad being gay on stage. I mean, I played it safe on stage for 10 years. And now I can't even perform in comedy clubs in New York. So it's like, I really don't give a shit. I mean, what a gift.
Are you Jewish?
I'm like like 12% or something.
I was gonna say you got to like lie. Then you should say that like your mom is black and your dad is Jewish,
For what? For to not have to.
so you can get on stage.
Oh. Well, I thought about faking it, but I decided if I lie and say I'm vaccinated, then I'm just De Blasio wins, you know. So
Yes.
I'm toying with, maybe I get
But
your feedback, but I'm toying with making more of a formal announcement online, just saying like, hey, I'm not performing anywhere that requires the vaccine, just to say, because people aren't standing up for this. And all these comedy clubs that I've spent 12 years getting into, I'm now not allowed in the front door. So it's like another gift, right? Because you could put a lot of weight in the comedy clubs. It becomes people's higher power. Oh my God, are they going to take me? What if I don't get the Cellar? What if they don't, oh my God, I didn't get booked this week at the Cellar. It possesses people. And now I don't even give a fuck if I never perform anywhere in New York again. So like,
right.
that offered me the next level of freedom I couldn't even imagine having a year ago. So
6 years ago, you made a video going into an Apple store and pretending to be a clerk, and from what I could tell, it was your first big breakout on your YouTube channel. It was 6 years ago. Was that your first big video that like caught
so
traction?
I
And were you
actually,
scared making that? Because
yeah,
it gives me oh, good. That makes me feel better. Because
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
watching you in there and I'm watching it, and although I'm thoroughly enjoying it, I have anxiety the whole time, like I'm watching a zombie movie.
yeah, yeah. So I made for a different company.
Uh-huh.
So that video got millions of views, as did other ones. The company then decided this doesn't fit with our brand. They removed the videos, but I said, can I have them and put them on my page? So it got another couple 100,000 when I put it up, but that was my misstep. Was I was making those for other people, which is
Okay.
why my YouTube page never blew up. But I was a starving actor, and they were giving me $200 to go do these things.
Right, right.
I, I did that for $200. So
How long did it take to shoot that?
we went into 4 Apple stores. We probably did 30 minutes to an hour in each one.
Did you get kicked out of all of them?
No, I only got kicked out of one because I had an Apple shirt on. They didn't know we were filming. They just said, "Oh, you can't have the uniform on, so you could either take the shirt off and or leave." But no, I didn't get. No one approached me.
Wow. Those
No
were
one
so
approached me.
those were so fucking good.
Those were fun, man. I know. They're so goddamn scary. That like it really, because I am high in neuroticism. Those videos, like, ugh, I kind of
Do you,
black out a little bit. I
yeah.
go into a flow state, really.
Yes, yes.
But I know that they get so many views, so it's like, it would be worth. Like, I'm gonna do one more uh, as a canvasser in New York, which won't be as intense, where I get people to sign for, insert woke cause right now. I think, that would be a really easy video to shoot outside.
Yeah, and so that one, and then you did one at Whole Foods, and then the other one that was just fucking hilarious was the one where you say that Hillary Clinton pulled out of the campaign.
Oh, yeah, that
How
maybe that.
are you just taking a shit and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna get dressed right now. I'm gonna call my buddy with the camera and I'm gonna go. Like, how do you come up with that?
Well, that was I think I okay, so it'll tie together a little bit. I think all the like the white shame and white hating stuff was starting to, and I started to see people in the Midwest or whatever starting to like Donald Trump. And it was, again, back to like, people need such little encouragement, and I'm going, wait, this guy's giving them the encouragement that no one else is giving them because they're being shamed for who they are. And I started telling people, guys, I think Trump's going to win. And I got my ass ripped apart by the liberals in New York. They wouldn't even let me start that conversation. And I was like, no, he's going to win. I was certain. And nobody would talk about it. So I go, you know what? Let me just make this video and to show them what's going to happen, because they're not prepared for this. Like, people are going to fucking have a meltdown.
And
So
they did.
that was the motivation of the video. Go out, say that Hillary Clinton dropped out, to go, hey guys, this is actually what's going to happen. So that was completely, that I made that because I wasn't able to talk about it.
And then do you have a homeboy? Like, you just like, you come up with the idea and you call your boy whatever, and you're like, hey Carl, can you bring your camera? I want to go shoot a video. And he's like, yeah. He's like,
It's
will you buy me coffee? And you're like, yeah, I got coffee and lunch today. Is it like that?
yeah, I'll buy a decaf. It's like, I've used to do a lot of commercials and little sketches for companies or whatever. So typically, if I jived with somebody and they would go, hey, if you ever need something filmed. So each video is like a different production company or a guy that shoots corporate bullshit who wants to get into comedy. So he goes, hey, I have access to all these cameras. Let's do it on a Saturday. I'll go and steal them. I've done.
So you don't have a guy.
I no. Right now, the guy that shot the vaccine video, he reached out, said, I'm moving to New York. I'm available anytime to shoot. So right now, me and him, we'll be working together until he can't.
Why
But I need a
can't we
team. I do
find
need a
yeah,
team.
why
I'm ready
can't we
for that.
find guys? So I do this podcast every single day, and I'm going to do 500 episodes. And I have access because I have that blue check mark. I can DM people like you who are have less followers than me, and they'll jump on. Like my range is, and obviously this is part tongue in cheek, but my range is if you have less than 500,000 followers, and I DM you with my 93,000 followers, there's a good chance you'll come on. And so basically, I just interview people who I want to interview. People are like, "What's the story of your show?" I'm like, I kind of am averse to social interaction, but so that's kind of why I do it because I want to face that fear. But then, hey, I just want to call this guy Tyler and talk to him because he's funny as shit, and I think comedy's awesome. And um, so um, so I've just been doing that, but I can't find a guy. Like I can't find anyone who's like just wants to do it the way I want to do it. One of the guys I was
A
doing my show with.
producer? What do you mean, a
No,
producer?
I have a producer. My producer actually, I was never going to do a podcast, and I had an old podcast, and my current producer said, "Hey, remember that old podcast you had?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, you had a guest on, and that guest said some shit that made it so my business is super successful, and now I have a shitload of money, so I want to pay it forward to you." I'm like, "No, I don't
Oh,
need anything, but thank you." And he goes, "No, seriously, I want to pay it forward to you." And I'm like, "No." And he goes, "I want you to start your podcast up again." I'm like, "No." And he goes, "I'll do all your scheduling for you." I'm like, "Oh, you motherfucker." So I'm like, "Okay, I will start the podcast up again and I'll do 500 podcasts." So that's what I'm doing. I'm racing to
okay.
500. Okay. So, but I have two other guys on the team and they're like, and they're still kind of on the team, but they're just not all in. Like they say, like they don't want to do these podcasts with you because it's at 7 a.m, or they have to work out, or they don't want to do a podcast that's like at midnight. They're just not like I want guys who are like, I how come I can't find anyone who's just like fuck it, I'm gonna like like I would have done that, you know what I mean,
Well,
this job.
I mean, to be honest, I did this because I thought you were Mark Maron, but I'm
Oh,
dyslexic, so I
damn
couldn't.
it.
I
Damn it.
saw the M and the N, and I go, I'm doing Maron today, and they go, that's amazing.
You can still say that, you can still say that. Lie.
Oh, okay. Well, it
So
sounds like
why
this.
can't we find guys? Why can't you just find a guy who's like, "Oh my
Well,
God, Tyler Fisher's the next big thing. Tyler, call me anytime. I'll make videos for you," and just like show their loyalty to you and get on your jock. Like, how come I can't find? How come we
well,
can't
that's a
find
big
people
ask.
who
I
want
mean,
to?
it
Is it
sounds like you're being a little unreasonable having
okay?
them
Tell me. Tell me.
be. It sounds like you want someone on call rather than.
I just want someone who's all in like me, like who has like no life
Yeah,
except
but they're not
to.
you though. They're not you. So the
Yeah,
motivation for
that's the
you
hard
is
part.
you own the show. You're going to be the guy. So
Yeah.
you're not going to find someone that matches your motivation. Now, I would say maybe you have to be a little flexible with the time you record it.
Yeah. I mean, basically what I'm doing is I've just said,
Or are
"Hey,
you paying them? Are you paying
no,
people?
no, no, no. There's no money in this. I'm not paying them." I
Okay,
mean,
so that's
I
a
have.
big that's a big
I mean, I bought
factor.
one of them a brand new computer. I gave another one $3,000. But there's no like. I'm not giving them like you're not. It's just because they needed it. I'm not
Right,
paying
right.
them like.
Well, if you're not, that's something I learned a lot is like, if I can pay someone to do it,
Right.
100% do that because then you're hiring them to do a job. It gets a little, there's a lot of gray area when it's, a lot of people will say, "Hey, will you do this thing? Because it'll get a lot of views." So like, I don't do that anymore. I did that for years. I don't do things for the possibility of exposure. So, you're going to need someone who you just there has to be really good incentive, which is like X, Y, or Z will happen if you jump on board, or you'll get an intern credit at your college or something. But there's so many podcasts and doing things, so it's hard now to go, "Hey, this will be on Sirius in a year if we do 500."
If I lived in fucking New York, I hear you, by the way. If I
Yeah.
lived in fucking New York, I would find you, I would give you my information, and I would say, "Tyler, I'm ready to film with you on a moment's notice whenever the fuck you want." And I'm a great filmer, by the way. I've made a bunch of movies. I have over 10 movies under my name, directing, producing, filming, all that shit. I filmed in over 100 countries in 49 states. But anyway, and I'm cool and neurotic. But if I lived by you, I would fucking get on your jock. I'd
Well, I
ride that
got
shit.
this guy Alex. He is
And
that
so why
guy.
he okay, good.
Yeah.
You deserve it. You deserve it. It should be a 25-year-old
we
kid who wants to make a name for himself.
we've already filmed twice. You know, I filmed a cooking show at my house, a fake cooking show. Then we filmed the vaccine. It's really on me now. So this is another interesting thing about like having a following grow that fast, or even having a following.
Yeah.
It's humans can't conceptualize that. You can't go, okay, I have 100,000 people watching me, expecting something, messaging me. So like now again, and I told you I wasn't that disciplined. So like over the last week, I've had thousands of messages come in. So
I'm honored by the way you responded to mine. I seriously mean that.
Well, again, I told you who I thought you were. I had to go through to see like a guy like you. Is someone have a podcast, or is someone offering a job? I don't like. I really do not have money right.
Right. Who does?
So I had to put. Some people do, you know. I had to put like my next sketch aside, and then this was a draining week. So like I have to get back. My point is, I'm taking personal responsibility. It's on me. This guy's ready with the camera.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a lot. It's confusing to have a following. It's great. It's the goal, but it's also like, you know, it's a lot of carrots being dangled. Even like beautiful women, like getting hundreds of messages from young, beautiful women who aren't vaccinated, who are going, "Oh my God, thanks for that video. You're cute. You know, why aren't you?"
Do it. Don't do it. You're too
No,
busy.
No,
don't
exactly.
Give away. Don't.
No.
Stay focused.
Yeah. But it's like I still have to go through all.
Yes. You must vet them and spend a few minutes on their Instagram account, seeing if they're really as pretty as they are in their profile picture.
Yeah. But you know, so the discipline thing.
Do you have a girlfriend?
Everything. Yes. No, I don't have a girlfriend. No.
I have crazy discipline.
That's great. I do not.
I don't believe you. I think you do.
No. I don't. I mean, so but again, this is why I invested in this.
Yeah.
To have this battleship where like this isn't connected to my other computer. So like, you know, I try not to watch pornography anymore. If I slip up, it's not connected to this. Like I wanted a clean workspace, and you know, it's so I'm getting there. But
do you, when you buy something like that, do you feel an obligation for it? Like when I was in my 20s and I bought a video camera, that's how I got into filming. I was like, I was homeless basically, and I had this job, and I had this paycheck that was making $7 an hour that I told you about, and I had saved thousands of dollars, and I went to Circuit City and I bought a video camera, but I felt this obligation to it. Okay, I spent all this money. Now that you bought that computer, do you feel an obligation to create a bunch of cool shit, or else do you feel like the money went to waste?
Well, I think I had proven myself because I was doing all of this stuff on that little computer. It was like, okay, I did 30 episodes of my podcast with this slow, terrible machine.
Yes.
The sketches are written. I've got the guy to film. Okay. I now, to do that vaccine sketch, now I had this 27-inch fast thing, and that's part of the reason that sketch was so good. It wouldn't have been so good on my old one. So I know myself well enough now to go, okay, you're not exploiting this. You're ready for it, and you're going to up your game. And don't put pressure. Don't say, now that I have this great machine, I'm going to be great. You know, it's just I need this to match where I am now, you know.
What was the guy's name? Mark Maron?
Mark Maron?
Is that his name?
You don't know Mark Maron?
Oh, man, now you're embarrassing me. Oh, shit, this guy? Rancho Cordova homeless people? Gray hair with them? No, I must have the wrong Mark Maron.
Wait, do you really not know who Mark Maron is?
I don't, Tyler. I'm sorry.
Oh, he's got one of the biggest podcasts in the world, and he looks like you.
Oh, shit. There's hope. Mark Maron. Am I spelling his name wrong?
No, it doesn't matter if you don't know who he is, because you're doing shit with your life. It's like...
I do see him. Yes. I will whoop that dude's ass. I work out and shit. I'm 5'5", 155 pounds of 49 years old
I mean, you definitely resemble him for sure.
I do.
For sure.
I do. He had Obama on.
Yeah.
Another massive disappointment. I voted for Obama.
I campaigned. I flew to Florida. Yale flew me to Florida to campaign
You'll
for
burn in hell
Obama.
for that. You'll burn in hell for
But I
that.
didn't vote for him because I couldn't vote. I traded my vote to go campaign. So I could say I never voted for Obama, which makes me racist. Yeah, Mark Maron has one of the biggest podcasts of all time.
Being white makes you racist. Sorry.
Oh, that's true.
Not because you didn't vote for Obama.
That's true.
Tyler, I have to get in my car and drive
Yeah,
my kids
I gotta
for their no, I gotta go. No, you can't.
I actually also do. I gotta do I have to do who Aziz Ansari's voice or something.
I really appreciate your time. I'm going to email you and ask you gently for your phone number.
Sure.
I would like to be like friends with you.
We can test that out. Yeah.
I always thought it was. Always thought it was stupid when I see little kids in the park who walk up to my kids and say, "Can I be your friend?" I'm like, that's fucking ridiculous. But
sure.
But now here I am at 49 years old saying,
I'll have to. Yes, we can test it. I'll talk to my therapist and we'll.
Awesome.
We'll arrange some.
Do you have any Armenian friends? I'm 100% Armenian.
I don't think so, but that could help my image right now.
Yes.
No, nothing can. Trust me. I got the gay dad. I got all that. None of it matters. It's none of it matters. But
there should be an exemption of like of things like if you're white and you need like, but you had a gay dad, but you had hair on your back at 12 years old. Like there should be some things like
it almost worked. Like it almost got me on the lesbian podcast. It almost got me on this Indian one. And then they go, I'm sorry, we're out of time. We're so. But now I literally can say anything. Like I used to be afraid to do an Indian accent or an Asian. I mean,
do not to be afraid, my friend.
Not be afraid. Well, buddy, it's so good to meet you. Up and you'll find someone to help you out. Just give them a couple bucks.
And we're no longer live.